game that we almost have taken for granted last season. They won't be taking it for granted today with the form that Nottingham Forest are in. And for Forest, it's a little bit of a shot to nothing, isn't it? Really, dummy. Little is expected of them, except from their own fans and indeed themselves and the manager. They could have a go today.
Well, they are one of two sides who are still undefeated on their travels in the Premier League. The other one is Liverpool, as they've made just a couple of changes. One comes in for what is only his second Premier League start of the season for Wood, who's on the bench, and there is no Morgan Gibbs-White, who's not fit. So James Ward-Prowse comes back into the side. Sells in goal. Aina, Milinkovic, Murillo, Moreno, Yates, Ward-Prowse, Dominguez, Hudson-Odoi, Elanga and Iwanyi. Nottingham Forest are all in sky blue. For Arsenal, as the Angel, the anthem here inside the Emirates rings around and the Arsenal supporters lift aloft those red and white scarves high. They've made 5 changes from the team that played against Chelsea. Jesus for Havertz, Trossard for Martinelli, Jorginho for Partey, Moreno for Rice, who's on the bench, Calafiore back from injured for White, who after minor knee surgery is going to be out until the new year. Declan Rice is amongst the substitutes. Raya in goal, a back four of Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiore, Erdegaard, Moreno, Jorginho, Saka, Jesus and Trossard, as Arsenal in their red and white shirts and white shorts are going to get us underway. And the referee on this bleak afternoon in North London is Simon Hooper, who with a shrill of the whistle gets the match started, with Arsenal playing from left to right as we look on what is a rather wet and blowy afternoon. What must not happen from Arsenal's point of view is to be blown off course completely for the title.
One of the big things about Arsenal in the last little while, they are a big physical side, and they've used that very well, particularly from set pieces. However, no Declan Rice starting, no Kai Havertz starting. I wonder if that's an area in which visitors will try and make some capital today.
Well, Trossard picks up the ball on that far side, the left. He finds Moreno, whose early delivery is blocked, and goes behind for a corner kick inside 40 seconds here at the Emirates. Trossard himself actually was a little bit of a doubt coming into this game. Bit of a hamstring tweak during his time with Belgium, but fit enough because Arsenal have got a busy schedule coming up. They're away to Sporting. They travel to Lisbon at the start of next week for the Champions League. Goes without saying, you'll hear that commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live. 3 successive nights of European action to look forward to, starting from Tuesday.
Very interesting tactically. Forest are not marking any Arsenal players in the box. Purely set up in a zonal sort of way. Very intriguing.
And then a cluster of red and white shirts gather from the far post. In they go. It's aimed towards Moreno, the Spanish international, as the ball goes back out towards that left-hand side. Trossard then rolls it short. This is Jesus looking for a shooting opportunity. Chips the ball. Aina was tucked in, heads it out, only as far as Saka. He scuffed at it. Trossard had a go, then tried the back heel, and the flag's up on this near side. It almost felt quite kindly there for Trossard from the scuffed effort from Saka.
Didn't catch it clean enough, did he? But the ball put into a really dangerous area. Going back to that marking, or indeed lack of marking, you don't often see that. Usually 2 or 3 players are marked, and one of the most dangerous ones. The Forest defence did not even look at the players from Arsenal at all. At the back post, there are 5 of them, not the back post. Just thought, no, if it comes into my area, I'll attack it. It worked that time, but only just.
Well, we know about the threat from Arsenal at set pieces as Forest go direct towards Iwanyi through the middle. Arsenal clear it. This is Jesus, lays the ball off. His last goal actually in the Premier League was against Nottingham Forest at the end of January at the City Ground. He's got 19 Premier League games without a goal as Gabriel Jesus. As Forest come forward, and Aina running away on that far side, the right, has time to look up, and Hudson-Odoi had made a movement towards the penalty spot area, tried to hit it first time, couldn't get the connection off his right boot, and now all of a sudden Arsenal bring the ball clear on the right-hand side. There's a real nice flow to this game as Saka is fouled by Moreno, Alex Moreno, and that will be a free kick.
It was very moving up the right-hand side by Aina, flying up there, and it almost looked like Reece James who was going up there. And remember, they did play for the same team for a very short period of time. but he's cut the ball back really well for Callum Hudson-Odoi, but just too much pace in it for Odoi to be able to cope with it. But as you say, great open game to start with.
Very much so. This free kick for Arsenal is 10 yards in from the right touchline. And Forest have got a line of sky blue shirts just inside the penalty area. And again, there are 4 Arsenal players who've gathered at the far side of the penalty box behind that line of Forest players. After this,
offside, yeah.
we're going to Bournemouth where there's been a goal, but Ødegaard stands over it. They're currently in an offside position. Now they make a run in behind that Forest line and intermingle as the ball comes in, and the downward header is prodded in, sliding in the far post, but the flag is up and it will not count. Offside. However, VAR will have a check, and in the meantime we'll get news of the goal at Bournemouth from Henry Moran.
And Brighton have the lead. It's that man João Pedro mopping up after the initial shot from Jorginho is parried. Brilliant move forward from Brighton. It's Bournemouth 0, Brighton 1.
Timber is the one who's had the celebrations cut short. Who's celebrating at Villa Park? News of a goal, Pat Murphy.
Crystal Palace fans. Villa caught napping. Rare breakaway by Palace. Ismail Sarr, the scorer, having been put forward by Mateta. Fine finish to the left of Martinez. Villa 0, Palace 1.
Not a goal update, but news of a pitch inspection at St Mirren. Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, Ian, good news if you're a fan of football in Paisley, because St Mirren against Aberdeen is going to take place. Kick-off will be 4 o'clock. The game has passed a 2:55 inspection. There had been snow on the pitch. It's pretty much all been cleared. St Mirren Aberdeen at 4 o'clock.
Cheers, Kenny. The length of delay that this VAR check is taking for a possible offside suggests that the goal might stand.
He's unsure, absolutely. The referee's not going for it. They're taking their time. We've got an angle on it here, and I think it looks like Aina's left foot might just be holding it. It's very, very tight. It's going to be inches. Classic, and that's probably exaggeration, millimetres.
Darren England is having a look, and he's studying it hard. I can see him just popping up on the monitor back at Stockley Park. Martin Ødegaard, meanwhile, is having a word with the referee Simon Hooper. But the longer that it goes on, the greater chance of the goal standing.
It's an odd, we've got an angle in front of us here. There is no way on this God's earth that you can tell who's offside or who isn't offside from there. So we're going to have to do a lot of work on that. We're going to have to get better angles on it. It's a shame they haven't got that semi-automatic one in tow. It would have been done by now. This is what frustrates the fans. However, they were quite certain about it. The Arsenal players kind of put up with it and accepted it was offside. They've got a little bit of hope there.
Well, you can hear the reaction of the Arsenal supporters. They've been booing and they've been cheering as we welcome listeners to the BBC World Service. Wherever you are in the world, it's a pleasure to have your company on this Saturday afternoon here in the rain in North London, where we're currently going through a VAR check, and an extremely lengthy one, checking for a disallowed goal. It was Timber who pounced at the far post, and at the moment we are in the hands of Darren England back at Stockley Park, because the lines are out and we're just waiting to see whether it's going to be red or whether it's going to be green. And after all that, it's a red line and it is offside, and we remain at 0-0. But we're now going to go racing. Just get news from Haydock with Darren Owen.
Yes, and here at Haydock, the Betfair Chase is underway. The runners are on their first circuit, and last year's winner, Royal Pigai, who was around about 2-1 favourite just before the off, is making the running ahead of last year's runner-up. That is Brave Man's Game, with the new kid on the block, Grey Dawning, racing prominently, but a long way to go here at Haydock.
We'll be back with you for the conclusion of that race, the steeplechase at Haydock, as Morecambe have taken the lead at the county ground in League 2. Swindon Town 0, Morecambe 1 is the latest score. Remember, Crystal Palace and Brighton and Hove Albion are both leading respectively at Aston Villa and Bournemouth, but 0-0 here in our commentary game, and that took a long, long time.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I would always say, look, get it right. You know, take your time. Don't want to make a panic judgment of it, because trust me, if you make a mistake rushing it there, lots of people were ready to pounce on you. You have more time to look at it. So they've got a decision right, but that's just too long, really. And I think by next season we should have the semi-automatic in place.
Yeah, well, I think they're still doing the trials. That they're hoping at some stage to maybe bring it in for this season at some point.
I heard it's a wee bit delayed. That's the last thing I read this morning.
Wrexham are leading Exeter by a goal to 0. Phil Parkinson's side have taken the lead, taking advantage of Birmingham, who lost at Shrewsbury by 3 goals to 2. Bolton beat Blackpool 2-1. Stevenage 0, Leyton Orient 0 was the earlier results in League 1. But Wrexham are ahead. And the results in League Two: Grimsby 0, Colchester 1, Meadow Lane, it was goalless at Notts County and Newport County. And in the Championship, Bristol City 0, Burnley 1, Coventry City 2, Sheffield United 2, and at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Cardiff 1. Chelsea moving to within a point of Manchester City as they consolidated third position, beating Leicester by 2 goals to 1. And Arsenal need to try and keep pace with that trio of sides above them, but it's 0-0.
We're not used to Arsenal not being the top London side. It's not been the case for a long, long time. And you look at Chelsea, it doesn't look as if they've sneaked away in there. They've kind of casually cruised up to that position in the league, so yeah, Arsenal don't want anyone to get away, but particularly not Chelsea or indeed Spurs.
Saka on this near side, the right, back then with Timber on the halfway line, and Timber will just pass the ball square. Let's get news of that Wrexham goal from Owen Gwynedd.
Yeah, Wrexham 1, Exeter 0 as Exeter pressing. Elliot Lee with an in-swinging corner. Max Cleworth, the centre half, getting up higher than anybody to head in a third successive corner by Wrexham, and that finally finds the net. Wrexham 1, Exeter 0.
Jorginho finds Ødegaard. 10 yards in from the right touchline, midway through the Nottingham Forest half, who have every sky blue shirt back behind the ball. And then Ødegaard once again, as Reading have just taken the lead at London Road. Peterborough United 0, Reading 1 is the latest score in League One. Gabriel passes the ball out towards that far side, the left. And Trossard comes in from that left touchline and floats in a rather flat ball. Moreno got a shove from behind by Milinkovic. And then there was another Arsenal player that took a tumble. That was Jorginho. Tries to get back as the counter-attack is quickly snuffed out by stepping forward Gabriel, as the wind just picks up here inside the Emirates on what is a blowy afternoon.
Interesting, the referee didn't go for that there. I mean, there was a little bit of a nudge in the box, but I wouldn't say that's when you usually get a penalty kick for. Jorginho went down too easy as well. Referee's not buying it, which usually leads to an open game.
Ødegaard, edge of the area, floats over the cross. The wind certainly took that. It was a floated ball forward, headed away by Aina. And the ball put out of play for a Arsenal throw. Goal at Millwall, Paul Scott.
11 minutes gone, it's Millwall 0, Sunderland 1. A free kick from the left wasn't dealt with by the Lions. It was headed out towards the edge of the area, where it was met by a wonderful volley from Aaron Connolly. It is Millwall 0, Sunderland 1.
They're flying. Regis Lebris is certainly getting things moving for Sunderland going into that game. Unbeaten in 8 at the top of the Championship and leading there at Millwall. As a break is on for Nottingham Forest, and Elanga picks up the ball on that far side, the right, and now runs at Gabriel, who backpedals, and then Calafiore, just coming back, just took it away off his toes and into the feet of Raya. We're going to go racing now, and Darren Owen.
So they turn into the straight-forward jump in the Betfair Chase, and last year's winner Royal Pagaille has made every yard of the running so far. So they're at the fourth last fence. Royal Pagaille leads and makes a mistake, his first mistake of the race. Now Grey Dawning and Gold Tweed are both travelling really well. Grey Dawning made a mistake down the far side, but Grey Dawning now bearing down on Royal Pagaille with 3 fences left to jump in the Betfair Chase. This is the last of the open ditches. Big jump there from Royal Pagaille. Grey Dawning in second. French Raider is in third. That is Gold Tweed, has run a really big race. Brave Man's Game has dropped behind these. Now is under pressure, and all the others are toiling. Second last fence, and it is Royal Pagaille from Grey Dawning, and the front 2 now are going about 5 lengths clear of Gold Tweed in third. Brave Man's Game is in fourth place. It's Royal Pagaille from Grey Dawning, and Grey Dawning now hits the front narrowly at the final fence. Grey Dawning is over the last and goes about a length and a half up. Royal Pagaille is trying to come back at Grey Dawning. They've got 100 yards left to go, and Royal Pagaille is coming back. It's a slow motion finish in the soft ground, and Royal Pagaille has now reclaimed the advantage, and Royal Pagaille wins the Betfair Chase for the second time. Great training performance from Venetia Williams. Royal Pagaille wins in the hands of Charlie Deutsch. Second place was Grey Dawning. Third, Brave Man's Game, and fourth, Gold Tweed. The favourite, Royal Pagaille, has won the Betfair Chase at Haydock.
Thanks, Darren. Still 0-0 here at the Emirates. Saka with a cross from the right-hand side off the head of Jesus. That'll go behind for a goal kick. But there has been a goal in one of our other featured games. It's at the Hawthorns in the Championship. Mas Faruqi.
And it's come from a corner for West Brom. Lashed-in set-piece routine from Mason Holgate. Really executed very nicely by West Brom. West Brom 1, Norwich City 0.
Norwich have lost their last 3 in the Championship. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, Arsenal are controlling most of this game at the moment. They've got good possession in midfield. What is noticeable though, like Jorginho, they're letting Jorginho get in the ball, then trying to close him down, trying to break off him. It's as if Forest feel as if Jorginho's not been playing that many games, maybe a bit rusty. So if they get a chance, get him isolated and really crush him, get a little bit of pressure on him. They've done that a couple of times, and it's led to half chances and breaks.
Huddersfield Town lead Charlton Athletic by a 1-0 in League One, and at Sincilbank there's also been a goal. Shojo Saka.
Lincoln 1, the league leaders Wickham 0. Lovely, lovely move by Lincoln City across from the right, and it was Tendai Darikwa falling over but volleying into the corner. Lincoln 1, Wickham 0.
Birmingham's 7-match unbeaten run came to an end, and Wickham's unbeaten match run could be also coming to an end. As here is Ødegaard, first time shot left-footed on the edge of the area, played back by Jorginho to Saka. On the right-hand side of the penalty box, finds Ødegaard once again, nicks a delightful ball, but is through towards Saka, running across goal, and getting the shot away. Super finish by bukayo Saka. He kept running, he waited for the opening, and then left-footed, fired the ball past Sal. Ødegaard fouled him. That's the creativity that they've been missing with Ødegaard's recent absence, but a thunderous finish from Saka. Arsenal 1-0.
Well, two international class players linking up and working together. As you say, the little sneak ball in there by Ødegaard was phenomenal. Looks as if he was off balance completely, but he's flicked it through. Back to Saka. But both him and Saka, they're never out of the play. Just keep themselves alive, aware to. He goes across the box. He looks as if he's gone too far, Saka, doesn't he? You think he's going to put it in, curl it into that back corner. But he comes back across himself. What a finish. You're going to enjoy that match tonight.
In the end, it was, he must have, run 6 yards inside that penalty area. He kept on going, and then managed to cut it back, didn't he, with a diagonal finish.
Normally you would think, coming in from the right-hand side on his left foot, he's going to curl it to that back post. But he keeps going and going and going. And then he has to cut it back into the near post. But the pace of it, keeper was ready to dive into the top corner. He was completely lost by that. Wrong-footed, but getting nowhere near it anyway. 1-0, and yeah, Arsenal are deserving of it so far.
So Arsenal are leading Nottingham Forest by a 0-0 here at the Emirates as the rain continues to sweep down. And Pat mentioned match of the day. It's on tonight, BBC One at 10:30. Let's get an update from Goodison Park then, John Bennett.
Everton 0, Brentford 0. Everton made a really positive start though. Iliman and Jai dancing into the box, forcing a good save. Then an even better save by Mark Flecken to deny Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Everton 0, Brentford 0.
Arsenal coming back to the home comforts here at the Emirates after 4 successive away games, and they are unbeaten here in their last 11 since Aston Villa triumphed back in April. We mentioned before about Forest's dreadful record when they've been travelling to this part of North London, whether it be Highbury or indeed the Emirates, and they are 1-0 down. Their last win was back in 1989. But Ødegaard picks up the ball on this near side, the right. Arsenal playing from left to right. Jorginho finds Saka right corner, challenged by Moreno, the Forest defender, but it runs out of play for a throw.
You just want to get the ball to this right-hand side all the time. Nothing against the left-hand side at Arsenal, but when you've got Ødegaard in this sort of form and Saka working together with him, they are fabulous to watch. They don't look at each other, do they? They don't need to. They know exactly where each other's going to go.
That little ball, from the throw, Saka is onto this, into the penalty area right-hand side from Ødegaard. It was just perfectly just threaded through.
You know, it's those classic ones when you play those little, you know, rotunda things where you're passing the ball around them, you've got 2 players in the middle, and, you know, the little flicks and tricks. Most players don't bring them onto the game. Those two do it all the time, so absolutely brilliant little bit to play there.
Missed 12 games with that ankle injury as the ball is clipped into the box for Jesus. Headed away by James Ward-Prowse. Aina, though, is barged off the ball by Trossard. Has to concede the throw. And Arsenal want to take it quickly on that far side as they lead by a 0-0. As we go to Craven Cottage, Katie Smith.
It's been pretty end-to-end. Fulham starting to assert themselves now. Lovely move down the left-hand side, finishing with Jimenez hitting the crossbar. 0-0.
Brighton is still leading at Bournemouth. Aston Villa 0, Crystal Palace 1 is still the latest score at Villa Park. And remember, there are no goals at Goodison between Everton and Brentford. Calafiore back in the Arsenal side. Plays the ball to Saliba. Stands still inside the centre circle. And then Gabriel is the one who will pass it back out to that far side, the left for Trossard, midway through the Forest half. There is Ødegaard, once again heavily involved. Another forward ball. Calafiore lays it off towards Trossard, plays it back towards Ødegaard, ghosts his way into the penalty box, looks for Saka, and the ball there, and it goes out and cannons behind with a ricochet for a goal kick as we go back to Bournemouth and Henry Moran.
Still Bournemouth 0, Brighton 1, but Bournemouth playing nicely here, creating a chance through Kluivert, slammed into the crowd, a flying for Bruggen, catches it to his right. Still Bournemouth 0, Brighton 1.
Party time for Ødegaard, doesn't it? He's getting so much space there. He's playing basically wherever he wants to play, and he's got a striker in front of him most of the time, usually Jesus up there. But because he's coming from that midfield, and he's running off both of the players. I mean, Ward-Prowse is actually playing a wee bit deeper. I like him a little bit further up the field, but he's not been following Ødegaard. And Ødegaard, he's got loads of space, but usually he only needs a yard. At the moment, he's got 10 yards whenever he wants it.
Well, referee Simon Hooper, I don't think has been given any alternative but to stop play, because Awoniyi is down and he's holding his face. So because it's a head injury, he's got to stop play. It means we can nip off to, well, commentary, this is on Sports Extra actually, the Rugby Union, Ireland, Fiji, and watching is Sarah Mulcahy.
It's Ireland 7, Fiji 0, an early try for the home side. Captain Caelan Doris stealing through a gap following the line out, and Sam Prendergast kicked the conversion on his first start as fly half. Ireland lead 7-0 against Fiji.
Before I forget, Chris Wood being on the bench has done me no favours with Tony Livesey and Fact of the Day on 5 Live Drive, so bear with, because Chris Wood at 13 was 6 foot, the same height as the TV star Miranda, would you believe? And I thought I'd better do that before I forget and get myself into Tony Livesey's bad books. As the ball is played forward into the penalty area, Jesus makes the run. In behind Milinkovic, pulls it back now, cross comes in from the left-hand side by Moreno, flags up on this near side. But another flowing move. They're causing Forest problems.
Yeah, honestly, if you get another goal now, if you're Arsenal, suddenly the game gets staggeringly easy, because they've got enough space as it is. But if you get 2 goals ahead, you can completely relax into it, and it'll draw Forest out. Dangerous moments here for Forest.
We've had a goal here. We've had a goal at Bournemouth. We've had a goal at Aston Villa. It remains goalless at Goodison, but no longer at Craven Cottage. Katie Smith.
And it's gone to the home side. Fulham 1, Wolves 0. Lovely bit of build-up play. It had been coming, and then falls to the feet of Alex Iwobi just outside the area, right-hand side. And lovely finish. Whips it into the top left-hand corner. 1-0.
Thank you, Casey. Ball cleared long by Nottingham Forest, looking for an equaliser. Calafiore, though, tidies that up back towards Raya. In the persistent rain, Calafiore, the left-back, forward to Mikel Moreno, who comes under pressure, but manages to get away from 2 Forest players. Trossard helping out, and then chips the ball back, actually, to the edge of his own penalty area for Saliba. Crawley Town have taken the lead at home to Rotherham United in League One. Calafiore now, as he often so does when he plays as that left-back, comes into a central inverted role, then passes it out to the left touchline for Trossard, who'll carry the ball forward midway through the Forest half on that far side. Saliba's forward ball. Ødegaard passes the ball back to Timber. Norwich City have got an equaliser. Incidentally, at West Brom, as Saka gets away with ease from Moreno, runs forward now, pulls it back. Here is Ødegaard. Ødegaard didn't really strike it cleanly enough, and Forest were able to get the ball away. Let's get news of that goal at the Hawthorns, Maz.
Really nice team move, finished by Emiliano Marcondes. West Brom 1, Norwich 1 now.
Had he struck that cleanly, as here is Trossard making his way into the penalty area, but never in full control of the ball, and Murillo clears, that could easily have been a second goal.
Probably should have been a second goal. Unusual for him, he was off balance when he actually took the shot, but it's the ease in which they're getting through, particularly in this right-hand side. But that piece of play by Saka, that was old school wing play, wasn't it? Very old school. Just dummies the player, leaves him completely in his wake, and he's always got his head up when he's going to the byline there, and that's the problem. Arsenal are getting to the byline too easily for Forest just now.
I thought you would have enjoyed that.
Yes, I did.
Forest at the minute are not posing, and not even laying a glove on Arsenal at the other end, and they've got the players with the pace of Elanga and Hudson and Awoniyi. They can't get a foothold in the game, it would seem.
Yeah, the game before us, we watched Chelsea, they were 1-0 for a long time. But it wasn't until the second goal goes in that you can relax. And that's exactly the same with Arsenal. At the moment, they look relaxed, but this thing can change at any time, because you know that Forest are a good breaking side.
Mikel Moreno loses the ball. Now Elanga, let's see if they can break Forest on that far side, the right. Runs forward. Jesus coming across. as was Jorginho, and then he's adjudged to have fouled him, and he might get a yellow card here. Jorginho, Simon Hooper's reaching for the book, and there is the yellow on the Arsenal midfielder is shown. The first yellow card of the afternoon, 23 minutes in.
Long way for us. Now, there's no way that Jorginho was going to catch him anyway with his pace, right? But I was watching it and I'm thinking, Angle looks as if he was down before Jorginho actually reached him. It's one of those ones. We've actually got another angle on it here, so I've not only not a yellow card, I'm not giving that as a foul.
Well, it's a free kick as a result for Nottingham Forest. And it's on that far side, the right. They're playing from right to left as we look high up here from our commentary position at the Emirates. Almost in line with the halfway line, but just fractionally right of that halfway line. But midway through the Arsenal half, Forest have got Ward-Prowse standing over it. The other player is going to be, I think it's Moreno who's looking to stand over that as well. Arsenal have got a red and white shirts on the edge of the penalty area to deal with this, as it is going to be Ward-Prowse to take it, right-footed, wraps his foot around, it goes a long way, and Malinka, no, it was Yates with a header over the top and out for a goal kick. So we will go to Oxford United in the Championship. Chris Coles.
Oxford lead at home to Middlesbrough. Greg Lee with the goal. A corner not dealt with by Borough. League 6 yards out, smashed it home. Oxford 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Preston North End without a win in 6 have taken the lead at Deepdale against Derby County 1-0. Also in the Championship, Queen's Park Rangers without a win in 12 have fallen behind at home to Stoke City. And Tom Cannon, who's having such a prolific season, has scored there for Stoke City. QPR 0, Stoke City 1, and Reading have got a second goal at Peterborough United. Peterborough 0, Reading 2. Arsenal lead here by a goal to 0. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app as well as the World Service. Saka into Jesus, lays it back to Jorginho. Saka. Jesus once again, right-hand side, right corner of the area, links up with Ødegaard. Lovely football, super team goal, and this was to go in the back of the net. Jorginho keeps it alive, and then the effort from a falling backwards Jesus is just wide of the right-hand post, but that was lovely on the eye from Arsenal, who lead 1-0.
In the kindest possible way. It's a throwback to of our Arsenal of many years ago, when people used to say, oh, they tried to score the perfect goal, they tried to walk into the net, but when it works, it was fabulous, and that was a piece of beauty there. The 1-2s, understanding of each other, and it absolutely deserved not only a goal, that deserved goal of the month had it gone in.
Yeah, as it was Jesus who just tried to curl it, falling away after shooting right-footed that was just off target. Probably by, I would say, a foot wide of the right-hand post as the rain intensifies, as we'll get another update in the rugby with Sarah Mulkerry.
It's Ireland 7, Fiji 0. Discipline has been an issue, though, for this Ireland side, and they've just had their young fly-half, Sam Prendergast, sent off in the first couple of minutes. A late shoulder into Salawa, so they're down to 14, but they lead 7 points to 0.
And Wrexham have got a second goal as they lead Exeter now 2-0. Incidentally, Wales, South Africa will follow Ireland, Fiji on Sports Extra at 20-6. But here we are in the Premier League, and Arsenal are 1-0 up, and we're approaching the half hour.
Very intriguing, actually. We talked beforehand about Havertz not being playing today. Declan Rice, too, arguably the most important players of the team, certainly going forward alongside Saka. But it's all on Ødegaard and all on Saka today. Everything's going through them. And at this point in time, it looks like a very good decision.
Saka plays it back to Ødegaard, and then Arsenal will work the ball across their defence, and then Gabriel hits a searching ball out towards Trossard, who, well, he does it ever so well to keep the ball in play. In fact, no, he didn't. He went out for a throw. Owen Gwynedd has news of that second Wrexham goal.
Yeah, Ollie Palmer with the goal, his third of the season. A Peter ball from the right-hand side from Ryan Barnett, his 6th assist this season. Palmer there in the centre of the box, heads it in. Wrexham 2, Exeter 0.
Thank you, Owen. I notice that the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, is here, fresh from being in Rio.
Well, at least he's come to the important place.
The weather is somewhat different, one would imagine, here to what he's had in Rio de Janeiro. 28 minutes in, Arsenal lead by a goal to 0. Forward ball to Ødegaard, quickly takes it out of his feet, then out towards Saka on this near side, the right. Saka passes the ball towards Mikel Moreno. Here is Timber offside.
Oh, I'm not so sure about
Flag
that.
has been triggered.
Well, I mean, the assistant referee's given that a few times, throwing out his flag, and once Sanchez's there again there, and it's one of those where it's millimetres offside. If it is offside, you've got to let them play out, I think. But we shall see if he keeps on doing that, because Arsenal get a bit frustrated, because it was another really beautiful looking move there from Arsenal.
Here is Matt Sells, the Belgian goalkeeper. Where are we going to go next, I wonder, on 5 Live? It's John Bennett at Goodison Park.
And it's Everton 0, Brentford 0. Everton will be really disappointed not to be ahead. Yet another chance. Dominic Calvert-Lewin free on the right-hand side. An angled shot saved by Flecken, 0-0.
And now Pat Murphy at Villa Park.
Still 1-0 to Palace, but close call just now for them. Watkins on the breakaway, right foot shot, brilliant low save to his right by the keeper Henderson. Villa 0, Palace 1.
Arsenal have the ball at the back here. We'll go to Bournemouth. Henry Moran.
Bournemouth 0, Brighton 1, but Bournemouth growing into this. Evan Nielsen galloping the length of the Brighton half, forcing a good save from Verbrugge, and remains Bournemouth 0, Brighton 1.
Remember, after Sports Report, we'll bring you the results and the reaction. We've got commentary at 5:30. Alistair Bruce Ball and Paul Robinson will bring you the second commentary of our 4 that we have over the weekend. Manchester City against Tottenham from the Etihad. Arsenal lead by a goal to 0. Raya passes the ball forward to Saliba. Yates goes to approach him. Saliba passes the ball square to Timber, playing as a right back. Almost just showed a glimpse of the ball there to Hudson-Odoi, who's snapping away at his heels, fouls him.
Part of the problem that Forrest have got just now, you know, very little being able to see a Hudson-Odoi, but, you know, as a winger, you know, you can't do it if you ain't got the ball. And certainly if you're not got the ball in the final third. Similar possession for Alango over the right-hand side. When he's been on the ball, he's looked dangerous, but it's been so rare that he's managed to get a good ball in the final third.
Trossard wriggles free from that left touchline. Now Arsenal switch it to this near side, the right for Saka. Moreno back pedals. Saka passes the ball to Ødegaard, just tries to roll away from Dominguez. Now actually is facing the goal, looks for the return ball from Saka, that understanding that Pat Nevin was talking about. Derby County have equalised at Preston, incidentally, in the Championship. Preston 1, Derby 1. Arsenal given a free kick, taken quickly from inside their own half. Saliba, Jesus drops deep, then loses out to Dominguez, and in fact Jesus might have caught Dominguez there and is shown a yellow card. It's the second yellow that Arsenal have received, as there's been another goal at Craven Cottage. Katie Smith.
And it has silenced the fans here. It is Fulham 1, Wolves 1, and as simple as you like for Wolves. They had been building nicely outside the edge of the area. This time it was a long ball over the top to Mateus Cunha. Lovely finish, 1-1.
Just caught him, and Dominguez has actually stayed down.
Do you know what? It's one of those ones where, you know, normally I would be comfortable saying either he did or didn't mean that. I've had to watch it 2 or 3 times. And I'm going with the referee now. I think he knew what he was doing. He'd lost the ball. He'd had a little look over his shoulder, Jesus. Knew he was going to lose the ball if he wasn't quick enough, but made sure his foot was left in there. He pleads his innocence, of course, but I think the referee got that one right.
Dominguez is okay, he's back to his feet. Charlton have equalised at Huddersfield Town in League 1. Huddersfield 1, Charlton 1, and Stockport County have taken the lead also in that division at Burton Albion. Burton 0, Stockport County 1. As Forest come forward far side the right, trailing by a goal to 0. Aina carries the ball and then leaves it for Elanga. Back then with the Forest right back. Ward-Prowse has actually made a run to the edge of the area. Aina now comes in field to that vicinity. Hudson-Odoi has gone central with his back to goal, passes it to Murillo. Milinkovic now forward of the centre circle, and every Forest player is in the Arsenal half, and it's Murillo who sends over the cross, but they're missing that aerial presence of Wood, and nobody there. Yates beaten easily in the air, though Arsenal sloppily have given the ball away, and Forest have it once more. 13 minutes to go to the break. Teeming down now with rain here in North London, as Arsenal lead by a goal to 0. This is an Arsenal side that have dropped 14 points in their last 9 games, and as Pat said, until you get that second goal, only then can you start to breathe a little bit more easily.
It does suddenly feel very slender. As soon as Nottingham Forest get the ball, they're not afraid to put players up front, like, and Aina's gone further up, he's right back there, but he's flying up and he looks like a winger just now. So when they get good, comfortable possession, they'll get players in the box, so try and get it to the wide players to get the crosses in. There might not be many of them, but they might not need many chances.
That's the familiar voice of Pat Nevin on 5 Live. Luton Town are leading Hull City by 1-0. Mark McGuinness, who made his Ireland debut against England, has got that goal at Kenilworth Road, and Swindon Town have got a goal back in League Two. Swindon 1, Morecambe 2. Pat Murphy at Villa Park.
It should be 2-0 to Palace because Mateta has missed an absolute sitter. Not quite in the Ronnie Rosenthal class of yesterday in front of the whole end, but Sarr gave it to him. Open goal, turns slowly, hit it over the bar with Martinez, helpless. Villa 0, Palace 1 still.
I bet the Palace fans are singing "Can We Play You" every week, bearing in mind that they beat Aston Villa at the end of October away from home by 2-1 in the League Cup. As Forest have been awarded a free kick on this near side the left, playing from right to left as we look.
Just come into it a little bit more as the second half has come on. I think the first 5 minutes it was, really impressed by Forest. I'm getting forward quite a lot, very open game. But since then, up until the last 2 or 3 minutes, it's been utter domination by Arsenal. The Forest expect that. Anyone can expect that coming here. However, now, the last couple of minutes, they're getting in positions, getting free kicks, and as we speak now, someone has gone down with an injury.
So there's going to be a stoppage in play here. I think it's Elanga who is down for Nottingham Forest, so the physio is being called for. I mentioned that Luton had taken the lead. Here's Aaron Paul.
Luton 1, Hull City 0. Mark McGuinness and the back post with the volley. Baptiste corner knocked on by a defender, and there was McGuinness to put the home side ahead. Luton 1, Hull 0.
The last we heard, the League One leaders were behind. Another goal at Sincilbank. Shojo Saka.
They are level here. Lincoln 1, Wickham 1. Lincoln City will be very disappointed not being able to clear a ball in the box. It fell to Richard Kone. He's got his 11th goal of the season. It just touched the keeper on the way in. But Wickham are level. Lincoln 1, Wickham 1.
He looks like he's been winded, Elanga.
Yeah, it's a weird one to go down. I didn't quite see where he was. Remember, much earlier on, he went over after Jorginho went in and nearly tackled him. I couldn't quite see what had happened there. We might actually give him a little chance here. No, we're not getting a chance here. We're going to actually see the goal again. We've got actually an absolute joy to see it from Saka. But it's a shame if Elanga goes off because he has looked dangerous when he's got on the ball.
Still a stoppage then as we cross to Oxford for a penalty with Chris Coles.
To Middlesbrough, trailing Oxford United by 1-0. Emmanuel Latte-Lath has the ball on the spot, preparing to take this spot kick for Middlesbrough. Ben Doak won the penalty, caught late by Elliot Moore. Problem is, he's injured just behind the goal, so the referee's asking Ben Doak to move away so the penalty can be taken. Ian.
Thank you, Chris. You've got the Elangas now off the field of play. Temporarily, Forest are down to 10 men as they've got this free kick, which is in a dangerous position as they trail by 1-0. They're all in sky blue. So we're looking away towards our left-hand side, and about 4 or 5 yards in from the left touchline, Ward-Prowse is going to take it. Right-footed. Murillo is up from the back. Milinkovic is in there, as is Yates. The left arm goes aloft. It's a right-footed ball, flicked on and flicked over, and a goal kick. But a goal at Villa Park, Pat Murphy.
Equaliser, Villa, Ollie Watkins. McGinn did the hard work, lovely pass, beat the offside trap, can't finish. Villa 1, Palace 1. They don't deserve to be level.
And I'm imagining, Chris, that penalty was converted by Emmanuel Latte-Lath.
It was, very coolly indeed. Bottom right-hand corner, Jamie Cumming diving the wrong way. Deserved because Middlesbrough have been very good since falling behind. Middlesbrough 1, Oxford 1, Middlesbrough 1.
Forward ball by Saka for Ødegaard. Murillo will cut that out. Charlton have had a player sent off, Greg Docherty. So they are currently drawing away 1-1 at Huddersfield Town, but they're down to 10 men as Awoniyi picks up a loose ball, plays it forward towards Elanga, and Raya, totally unruffled, scoops the ball up with ease on the edge of his penalty area.
Yeah, but there is a concern if you're Calafiore there, the pace he's up against in Elanga, it's quite scary, but they managed to deal with it well. In a moment, I'll have a wee word about Ben Doak, who we mentioned earlier on.
He's having an excellent loan spell, isn't he?
Wow, just wow. Talking about fast players, Liverpool, you have got a joy to enjoy when he comes back on loan. He is phenomenal.
And he certainly did well for Scotland in Poland, which I would imagine that you would mention too.
Oh yes, I think so. No, very, very special. People who are quick in football. And then there's a thing called ultra rapid.
Here is Jorginho, and the ball threaded. Took a deflection. I was going to say it's gone out for a goal kick. It's actually a corner kick.
I should have a little consideration whether an arm had gone up there that had deflected it round, but it wasn't an arm. Referee spotted there. It's a corner kick, and Forest will set up in that odd way where they're not going to mark anyone and cope with it. They believe in the height that they've got in there, and with the likes of Yates, generally they're okay. but the quality you're getting in from Saka, when he gets that ball right and it goes to the back post. Do you know, I would do it just now as you watch it. Look at all the Arsenal players, they're all at the back post, then they run forward. Why bother? Yeah. Just wait there. And if you're not getting marked, you get the ball and you win the ball at the back post. So if it was me and I was Saka, that's what I'd be aiming now.
Saka's taken his time to take this corner kick. Before he did, he had a conversation with Gabriel and Ødegaard. Ødegaard was having some sort of instructions from the bench from Nicholas Jover, the set-piece coach. It's a stuttering run-up from Saka to take the corner. In it comes now, left-footed. Murillo, though, heads it away with ease inside that 6-yard area. But Forest had everybody back, and Jorginho is the first player to come on to that ball midway through the Forest half, out towards that left-hand side. And now Jorginho once again. Back it goes to Calafiore. Into the centre circle. Now he finds Ødegaard, very, very deep. Saliba out towards Saka. Alex Moreno dived in but won the ball for Forest. Now tries to get away, but Saka then dispossesses him. And the left back all of a sudden is out of position as he threads it forward to Timber. Back then to Saka, steadies himself, shot, blocks, comes back towards Saka with his back to goal, tries to tee up the shot, and in the end it was drilled in by Trossard and parried away by Sells for a corner as we go to Villa Park and Pat.
It's still 1-1 to Villa, but Villa are now releasing the ball quicker and they're playing better as a consequence. And Bailey on the break has just hit the angle of post and crossbar with his right foot. Villa 1, Palace 1.
Arsenal leading by a goal to nil, have a corner kick right-hand side.
Should be more, let's be fair. It should be more. They've got themselves into really good positions, and Ødegaard had a chance earlier on. Saka's had chances as well. Jesus, he's had a little opportunity. They've just not been able to get that one in target. They're curled into the far corner. Usually we at numbers. Now we've got another corner kick. There's a lot of conflab going to that back post, isn't there, where the Arsenal players, 6 of them all standing there.
You read my mind. I was going to use exactly that word, conflab, for about the 6 players gathering. Corner kick. Saka to take it right-hand side and actually arced its way over everybody and out for a goal kick.
Well, they did exactly what I thought they were going to do the one before it, because they draw everybody in by running in, but they had a player going round the back. Exactly what I expect them to do. But just too much on it from Saka in the ball, or else it would have been perfect and caused all sorts of problems.
Just going back to Ben Doak, we were together when he made his Celtic debut.
Yeah, and I remember
saying,
and I remember my first words when I saw him running, which was, wow. And it's not stopped. He is spectacular. And by the way, more importantly, he's also a far better, more skillful player than I give him credit for, and not lacking in confidence.
Well, high praise indeed from Pat Nevin as we have 4 minutes to go to half-time, where Arsenal are leading by a goal to nil. Bournemouth 0, Brighton 1, Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 1. Everton and Brentford is goalless, and they're also level between Fulham and Wolves, 1-1 at Craven Cottage. What's the latest in the rugby? Sarah Mulkerrins.
Ireland 14, Fiji 3. Josh van der Fleer getting their second try of the day after a quick tap penalty. Fiji were on a warning for their discipline and now have Properoni Marwi sent to the bin after that warning. It's Ireland 14, Fiji 3.
Ødegaard wins the ball for Arsenal, coming forward now. Jesus is ahead of him. Jesus flicks it back. Saka, first-time shot. Great save by Sells. Smart, very, very sharply down towards his right-hand side. He's gone behind for a corner kick. News of a sending off now at Everton. John Bennett.
Brentford down to 10 men. It's Everton 0, Brentford 0. Norgaard's been sent off, sliding in on Jordan Pickford, who was injured in the challenge. Everton 0, Brentford 0.
Sells has made 2 very good saves. First from Trossard and then another one from Saka.
Yeah, but honestly, watching Ødegaard, he is just a delight. The way he beat the defender there, then he runs in, and it seems as if he's got eyes in the back of his head. He knows where all his teammates are going, even if they're behind him. He's having a brilliant game to Ødegaard. What a difference he's made to the team. They just click when he plays, don't they?
Oh, very much so. Middlesbrough actually are now leading at Oxford United in the Championship. Oxford United 1, Middlesbrough 2 is the latest score. But Arsenal, meanwhile, have got a corner kick in these very wet conditions with 2.5 minutes to go to half-time. And then they're wondering who's going to take it. They actually both walked away there.
There's something set up.
Ødegaard and Trossard.
And they forgot to do it for the first corner from that side.
So now all of a sudden it'll be Trossard to take it. The arm goes aloft in front of the travelling support from Nottingham. In it comes now, in towards the near post. It's a very good header away by Dominguez under pressure at that near post and behind for yet another corner kick. As Trossard waits to take it once again. Forest have got everybody back. There are 5 Arsenal players who've gathered outside the 6-yard box at the far post. They're waiting and then they'll make that run in between the Forest players with their zonal marking. Corner kick far side. Arsenal lead by a goal to nil. Lifted. Sells under pressure, had to pour that away as he was moving backwards to his far post, and Forest clear. Arsenal still have the slender lead, and someone now must be leading at the Hawthorns because there's been another goal. That's Faruqi.
They've come from behind to lead Norwich, and they deserve it. Boyer signed with his 12th league goal of the season. West Brom 1, Norwich 2 now.
And Barnsley 0, Wigan 1 is the latest score. Burton Albion 0, Stockport 2. As here, a Nottingham Forest player has...
Well, Yates has gone down, right. Now, he's very close to us here. He's just given a yellow card to Saka. Once again, I'm not sure I'd have given a free kick. Saka's gone up, and I'd book Yates for that. I'd book him. I'd take it back and book him for that. He's holding his head and he's rolling about. I don't think his head's touched. And I think that's the absolute unacceptable side of football, that we stop games because people have got head injuries. See, if you pretend you've got a head injury, it's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.
So Yates is okay, he's back on his feet.
Of course he's okay.
And all right to continue. And he's incensed, Pat Nevin.
Well, it's the one thing we shouldn't do in the game, because we've got a real problem with head injuries, and a problem we can have that in long term. The one thing that should never happen is that people feign head injury.
Penalty at Villa Park, Pat Murphy.
It's to Aston Villa, it's 1-1, it's a disputed penalty, but more importantly, here is Yuri Tielemans, right foot against Dean Henderson. Just composed himself, ready to fire now. Henderson doing his best to put him off. Tielemans, here he comes now, and it's a great save! Great save by Henderson, pushing it to his left, over the bar for a corner. I've got to say, VAR ruled that was a penalty. Tim Robinson, the ref, had a look at it. But Bailey went down rather softly under the challenge of Hughes. And Hughes, no doubt, a rueful smile that perhaps justice has been done. It's still Villa 1, Palace 1.
West Brom 2, Norwich 2, Oxford 1, Middlesbrough 3 are latest scores as Arsenal are attacking. And in a moment we're going to go to Lincoln City. As Arsenal, though, just wait and hold on to the ball. Here is Jorginho and Shojo Saka. Wickham have turned it around.
They certainly have. Lincoln 1, Wickham 2. Dan Harvey with a lung-bursting run down the left wing, a pinpoint cross. Easy finish for Fred Onyedinma. Lincoln 1, Wickham 2.
Arsenal leading by a goal to nil. And we're into 5 minutes of added on time here at the Emirates. Also available on the BBC Sounds app. As here is Saka, just in from the right touchline, waiting. Ball forward to Timber, little flick then to Ødegaard into the penalty area. Ødegaard can't get a sight of goal. Timber can, but his right-footed shot is rising and over the top. Goal of Villa, Pat Murphy.
To Crystal Palace, again caused by the pace of Sarr. Ducouri, perfectly judged pass. Off went Sarr on his bike, squared it across, and there was young Justin Devaney, who made his debut just a fortnight ago, sweeping in at the far post. Villa 1, Palace 2.
Thanks, Pat. And news of those goals for Middlesbrough. Chris Coles at Oxford.
Finn Azaz with one, Latte Lath with the other. A blistering 5-minute spell for Middlesbrough. Azaz finding the bottom corner from the edge of the area. Latte Lath played through. He found the corner. Oxford United 1, Middlesbrough 3.
And I mentioned that West Brom are level, as Faruqi has the details.
And Josh Meyer putting them level about 90 seconds after Norwich took the lead. So it's 2-2 here. Carlin Grant just thought he put West Brom ahead again, but it was ruled out for a handball into the area. So 2-2 here.
Arsenal on the back foot. Forest are attacking with Elanga, but it's a very, very deep cross on this occasion. Hudson-Odoi keeps the ball in play, and then it rolls down the touchline and out of play for a throw. Haven't really had a great deal of joy, have they, Forest, in an attacking sense?
By the way, you're seeing me mildly miffed, or as miffed as you ever hear me beforehand. That's nothing to Saka. He's digging up the referee every 2 minutes about it. He's fuming about the yellow card he got that he didn't even think should be a foul against, and I'm on his side in that one. But, you know, it's still 1-0 for all the fact that there have been a multitude of chances that Arsenal have created. The vast majority of them down this right-hand side involving Saka and Ødegaard, but it's 1-0. And Forest feel, rightly so, they're still in this game.
Yes, good housekeeping as well. I'd forgotten to mention that Saka had been shown a yellow for the incident that caused you to be outraged in the direction of Ryan Yates, as Arsenal, with Ødegaard, get a free kick, bit of shirt pulling there in the midfield. Ironic cheers as we go to Millwall and Paul Scott.
It is Millwall 0, Sunderland 1, but both sets of players have just been taken off the pitch here due to a medical incident in the crowd, which is taking place opposite. Both sets of players off the pitch. As it stands, Millwall 0, Sunderland 1.
Thank you, Paul. Free kick for Arsenal, taken short. Jorginho gets it back from Saliba and then hits it forward in the air over the head of Saka, and the ball will peter out for a goal kick.
That's an unusual one for Jorginho to play it to Saka. Lobbed up in the air for a header there. He's given Moreno a very tough time this afternoon, but then again, Saka can do that to just about anyone on his day. But Moreno, he's stuck to his task as much as he possibly could, but as he walks back there, he does look a little bit weary. A lot of chances have come from this right-hand side.
But in first half stoppage time, Forest are still in the game, despite all the chances that Arsenal have created. As Matt Sells, away towards our right, waits to take the goal kick, hits it right-footed, flicked on then by Dominguez. Yates forward ball towards Elanga. Calafiore deals quite comfortably with his threat, just coming across and taking the ball away. But Arsenal with Trossard being pursued by Aina. His clearance, there's a late one there by Aina, and Aina. Now, where's the consistency? Why is he not being? Oh, there it is. There it is.
It was 100% he was going to get booked there, and again, it's a bit harsh. The ball's been cleared. He's gone out. Sometimes if a player leaves his studs in there, and you clear it and you follow through, you know he's doing it deliberately. That looked a wee bit like, he's trying to get the ball. He's going close to it. And I think that's, again, a little bit harsh there. Yellow cards come out a few times, and I'm not sure most of them. Saka didn't deserve his. Jorginho didn't deserve his. And I don't think Aina deserved his either.
I think of the four that have been shown, the only one that you thought was the Jesus one, wasn't it?
Yes. And it's one, and it's not 100% because you couldn't tell for sure. So tough calls to the referee, and I'll give you that. But in the end, I think the Arsenal fans, we hear them just now, they're not happy with the referee, are they? They're disappointed with the amount of cards that have gone against them. However, they will be happy with the result so far.
Yes, they are, because as the half-time whistle sounds, they lead by 1-0. Their only gripe might be that Arsenal are not leading by more with the chances that they've had, but Saka's fine left-footed finish is the difference between the two sides.
Arsenal have been lovely to watch for the vast majority of this game, and you hate picking players out, but you cannot ignore Ødegaard and Saka, but particularly when they're playing together, which is all the time, because when they get the ball, they just look for each other all the time. They are a spectacular duo, and it's great to see them playing so well. They deserve to be 2-3 at least up at half-time, and it would have allowed Arteta to, keep other players rested on the bench. As it is, they can't take the foot off the gas yet. They need another goal.
Half-time at the Emirates, Arsenal 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
Yeah, whistles going up and down the land. Let's start with the half-time at Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
Villa 1, Crystal Palace 2. They've never mastered Villa. He got an early goal with his pace and power, and then just before half-time, he laid on the second goal for Devaney with a quick break, perfectly judged pass. Before that, Mateta missed a sitter when it was 0-1. Watkins made it 1-1, great pass from McGinn. Bailey then hit a post. Tielemans missed a penalty. Great save by Palace's keeper Henderson. A lot of action. Villa 1. Palace 2.
So Palace heading out of the relegation zone as it stands, clearly with a long way to go. Half-time whistle's gone in the game between Bournemouth and Brighton. Henry Moran.
Bournemouth 0, Brighton 1. João Pedro following up to tap in after Jorginho's effort was parried after 3 minutes. Brilliant sweeping move forward from Brighton. Bournemouth have largely dominated the following 48 minutes or so. Evan Nielsen's had a goal disallowed. Kluivert's forced a good save from Verbruggen. Really entertaining game this at the break. Bournemouth 0, Brighton 1.
There's only one goalless game in the Premier League in the 3 clocks, but you've had a bit of drama, John Bennett.
Yes, we have. Everton 0, Brentford 0. A big talking point. Brentford's Christian Norgard sent off, sliding in to try to score inside the 6-yard box after a header across the penalty area. His studs made contact with Jordan Pickford's knee. Long VAR check, red card. Thomas Frank furious. So a big opportunity for Everton. They should be ahead already. Calvert-Lewin, McNeil and Njai with good chances. Everton 0, 10-man Brentford 0.
Craven Cottage next, Katie Smith.
Fulham 1, Wolves 1. Fulham have been on top, opened the scoring, left-footed curler from Iwobi outside the area, then perhaps punished just slightly for letting that intensity drop off. Wolves showing some nice build-up round the edge of the box, but then it was a long ball from Lamina, finished off nicely, lofted finish from Cunha to level things up. What it does mean, Steve, is both sides here now have scored 11 games in a row. That's equaling a club record for Fulham, 1-1.
Into the Championship, half-time at West Brom, Masfaruqi.
Norwich coming from behind to lead for about 90 seconds before West Brom made it 2-2 just before the break. It was West Brom who scored first. Mason Holgate with a bullet finish at the left post. Jack Stacey then bursting forward to feed in Emiliano Macondes for the Norwich equaliser. Norwich then going ahead with a goal which has now been credited as a West Brom own goal. Josh Meyer though making sure that lead didn't last long, and Carlin Grant then thought he'd scored a West Brom third, but that was ruled out for handball in the build-up. So it's been action-packed, 2-2.
So both of the top scorers in the league on target. 12 for Borja Sainz, and Josh Maja moves on to 10 for the season. Half-time at the game between Oxford United and Middlesbrough. Chris Coles.
A ruthless 8 minutes has Middlesbrough in control, coming from 1 down to lead 3-1. Oxford in front, Greg Lee smashing home from close range, and then the Middlesbrough quick-fire triple, an Emmanuel Latte-Lath penalty, won by the impressive Ben Doak. Finazaz finding the corner from the edge of the box. Latte-Lath again, converting a one-on-one. Oxford United 1, Middlesbrough 3.
Middlesbrough heading into the playoff places as it stands. Half-time at Luton, Aaron Paul.
Luton 1, Hull 0. Not the best of quality, Steve, but a Mark McGuinness volley separates the two sides. Hull have worked harder, but McGuinness held his run beautifully to sweep home in the back throws from Shandon Baptiste's corner to give Luton a crucial lead, being played out in horrible conditions. Luton 1, Hull 0.
Yeah, they started the game in the relegation zone. If they do win, as they are winning, it would lift them all the way up to 16th place in the Championship table. There are more important things, of course. Are we still not playing at the Den, Paul Scott?
Yeah, it is Millwall 0, Sunderland 1. Both sets of players are still off the pitch following a medical incident in the crowd. It happened in the 40th minute. The players initially stayed on the pitch, and then in the 45th minute, the referee sent them both back to the changing rooms. As of yet, they haven't re-emerged. On the pitch, Aaron Connolly's first goal for Sunderland does separate the two sides. I'd imagine when they come back onto the field of play, we will still have 5 minutes of the first half to play, but it is Millwall 0, Sunderland 1. Play still not underway.
OK, Paul, thank you very much indeed. Other half-times in the Championship, Preston and Derby level at 1-1. Leeds United, Loney, Sam Greenwood with the goal for Preston. Queen's Park Rangers currently trailing Stoke City by a 1-0 at half-time. Tom Cannon, who's been in phenomenal form for Stoke, has got the only goal there. Into League One, Lincoln Wickham, Shojo Saka.
Lincoln 1, Wickham 2. Lincoln took the lead through Tendai Darikwa, volleying home into the bottom left corner. Wickham then equalised through Richard Kone. Very nice way for him to celebrate signing a new contract this week. And the turnaround complete as Fred Onyedinma put Wickham in front just before half-time. Dan Harvey with a brilliant assist. Lincoln 1, Wickham 2.
So that would take Wickham 4 points clear at the top of the table. Wrexham in second are doing what they can. Owain Gwynedd.
Yeah, Wrexham 2, Exeter 0. The hosts have been good value for the lead. They made light of the best defence in the league. Both goals scored with headers. Max Cleworth with the first from Ennett Lee's corner. Ollie Palmer with his third of the season found himself unmarked in the box to make it 2. Wrexham on course for the 7th home win in 8. Wrexham 2, Exeter 0.
So your full times from earlier in League One: Bolton 2, Blackpool 1, Shrewsbury 3, Birmingham 2. Big story that Shrewsbury in their first game under Gareth Ainsworth picking up a victory and lifting themselves off the bottom of the league. Burton Albion are bottom now, and they are trailing 2-0 at half-time to Stockport County. It's Barnsley 0, Wigan 1 at the break. Crawley lead Rotherham United by a 1-0. Charlton are down to 10 men and drawing 1-0 at Huddersfield. Mansfield 0, Bristol Rovers 0. It's also 0-0 in the game between Northampton and Cambridge United. Reading lead Peterborough by 2-0. Harvey Nibbs has got both of them. That is 5 goals in his last 3 games. Into League 2 then, Port Vale, the leaders, not playing. So Doncaster Rovers in second place. If they were to get a win today, they would move 2 points behind the leaders, but they're drawing 0-0 at half-time at Carlisle United. Other games going on, and remember, a lot are off. So AFC Wimbledon 0, Walsall 0, Chesterfield 0, Barrow 0. It's also 0-0 in the game between Gillingham and Harrogate, the only game with goals in. Swindon 1, Morecambe 2. All the other games were off in that one. In the Scottish Premiership, live scores for you: St Johnstone 0, Kilmarnock 0, Ross County 0, Motherwell 0, and we're now underway at
Ibrox. Gavin Wallace.
We are indeed, Steve. Yes, obviously, well, 0-0 for starts, but do remember Dundee United had to arrive late because of the inclement weather coming down from Tayside. They did, though, Steve, take a little bit longer with the warm-up. We've only kicked off maybe 2 minutes ago or so. Referee Don Robertson had to go out, reminded Dundee United players to come in. They subsequently ignored them. He came back out. They did it again, and we've just got underway. So it is 0-0, 2 o'clock.
And we'll be getting underway in 2 minutes' time in the delayed kick-off, St Mirren against Aberdeen, which starts at 4. In the Scottish Championship, the only game that's on is Ayr United 0, Dunfermline 0. In Scottish League 1, Montrose versus Annan is another delayed kick-off. All the other games are off, and every game is off in Scottish League 2. So let's jump back up into the National League again. Lots of games were off here. The matches at Halifax, AFC Fylde and Rochdale. Games that are going on at the moment. Aldershot lead Altrincham by 2-0. It's Barnet 1, Woking 0. Boston United lead 2-0 against Braintree. Eastleigh are 1-0 up against Wealdstone. The leaders Forest Green Rovers are winning as well, 1-0 at Southend. It's Maidenhead 0, Gateshead 2, Solihull Moors 1, Hartlepool United 2 under Lenny Lawrence. Back at the club, Tamworth 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 1, and York City, second place York City, lead Yeovil by 2-0, and Yeovil are down to 10 men. Let's go into the Autumn Nations Rugby at the Aviva Stadium, Ireland, Fiji. Sarah Mulcats.
And it's Ireland 21, Fiji 3. The hosts have got their third try, this one from scrum half Kay Cracey, scoring in the corner after a maul from an Ireland line-out. Prendergast converted it. The discipline is really not good for Fiji. It's hurting them in defence. They're giving away penalties in key areas. Approaching half-time, it's Ireland 21, Fiji 3.
Thank you, Sarah. There's live commentary right now on 5 Sports Extra. Then 5:40, Wales versus South Africa, also live on 5 Sports Extra. You are up to date. Let's get the news on 5 Live with Jill Mackenzie.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Talks at the COP29 Climate Summit are on the verge of collapse. A group of developing countries has walked out of a meeting with the hosts, Azerbaijan. They say richer nations should contribute more money to help them deal with the effects of climate change. A man's died after a tree fell on his car in Hampshire this morning, although it's not clear if Storm Bert's high winds caused the tree to come down. There's been widespread disruption across the UK, with heavy snowfall in Scotland and northern and central England, and strong winds and heavy rain. Nearly 3,000 buildings are without power, and transport's been affected, with roads closed and trains cancelled. But as temperatures rise, there are concerns about flooding, with more than 100 alerts and warnings in place across Britain. 5 adults and 5 children have had to be rescued after a landslide near Llangollen. The Lebanese Health Ministry says at least 23 people have been killed and more than 70 injured in 2 Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon. The Israeli military says it's hit a number of Hezbollah-linked sites over the past 24 hours.
On BBC iPlayer.
For as long as I can remember, I've had a fascination with racing.
Keanu Reeves tells one of the greatest underdog stories in Formula One.
And I'm going to share a story that barely seems believable.
This is about survival. Best way to become unpopular very quickly is to start winning. You either push the limit or you're nothing.
Brawn, the impossible Formula One story.
We push to the limit.
Watch on BBC iPlayer. This is 5 Live Sport.
With Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
And we'll be back at the Emirates very shortly. Arsenal won, Nottingham Forest 0 in our commentary game. Astonishing stories just breaking, though, in the world of tennis. Let's bring in correspondent Russell Fuller. Well, we know Andy Murray's retired as a player, but now he's a coach, and he's not just coaching anybody.
It's not April the 1st, is it?
I did check the date.
It is definitely Saturday, November the 23rd, and Andy Murray and Novak Djokovic have just announced that Murray is going to coach Djokovic up to and including the Australian Open. Djokovic says, I'm excited to have one of my greatest rivals on the same side of the net as my coach. Look forward to start of the season and competing in Australia alongside Andy, whom I've shared many exceptional moments on the Australian soil. Yes, he beat him regularly in the Australian Open final. And Murray says, I'm going to be joining Novak's team in the off-season, helping him to prepare for the Australian Open. I'm really excited for it and looking forward to spending time on the same side of the net as Novak for a change, helping to achieve his goals. And Djokovic has just posted he never liked retirement anyway. What a story.
It's a great story. And look, Russell, I mean, it's brilliant. Andy Murray back in tennis is always a good thing. Just out of curiosity, the many, many times you've spoken to him, did you ever get a hint that this was something he might want to do, let alone do this quickly?
No, not with Novak Djokovic this quickly. I always thought he was going to spend a lot of time coaching players. I'm convinced he has a major successful career as a coach. And when you've achieved as much as Andy Murray has, then that role of the super coach that Ivan Lendl did so well for Murray becomes even more relevant. But I thought he'd have a little bit more of a break. Having said that, he has said before that he quite enjoys being at home with a family. In fact, he very much enjoys being at home with a family. But by the time it gets to Wednesday afternoon, he gets a little bit bored. So it's not a great surprise that he's thrown himself in so quickly. It's just that it's Djokovic, with whom he had a friendship initially when they were young, and then a great rivalry, always fabulous respect between the two. Djokovic won 36 of their meetings, 25 of their 36 meetings on tour, but Murray did get him twice, so crucially, at the US Open of 2012 to win his first Grand Slam, and then at Wimbledon the following summer to win the first of those two Wimbledon titles.
Thank you very much, Russell. Our correspondent Russell Full, a cracking story. I can't imagine how difficult it would be to coach somebody as good as Novak Djokovic. In fact, Jamie Broughton, you could make the same point about Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yes, you could. I mean, a great player, but he could be heading out of the tournament. The defending champion taking on Barry Hawkins. He made a brilliant start this afternoon, did the rocket. He knocked in 2 big centuries to lead 3-1. But since the mid-session interval, it's been Hawkins who's been winning the frames, and Hawkins is now 5-4 up. We're into frame 10. Ronnie had the first chance. He missed the red. And now the balls are there. Hawkins is at the table with a chance to wrap up a famous victory here. On the other table, Zhao Jingtong playing Sean Murphy. Murphy is 4-3 up in that one.
Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, we'll keep you up to date. It looks like Ronnie O'Sullivan heading out. That'd be a big story. We're underway, are we, at St Mirren, Kenny Crawford?
Yeah, Steve, an hour later than planned, and St Mirren have a good chance. He was just as gone wide of the post. Conor McMenamin, the Northern Irish international striker, had a shot and it was deflected wide of Dimitar Mitov's post, the Bulgarian goalkeeper for Aberdeen. But yeah, Aberdeen, if they take it, just a point will put them top of the league for a few hours at least, because Celtic don't play Hearts until tonight. Celtic and Aberdeen both on 31 points. But this is a tricky venue for Aberdeen. They haven't won here in the league since 2018 at St Mirren. St Mirren 0, Aberdeen 0 with 3 minutes on the clock.
Thank you very much, Kenny. Looks like we're almost ready to get back underway then at the Emirates. Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, with all the goals up and down the land as they go in. Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thanks, Steve. Arsenal are going to make a change. Thomas Partey at half-time is going to replace Jorginho. And Nottingham Forest are going to make a change as well, and they're going to bring on Jota Silva, who's just getting his final instructions from Nuno Espirito Santo, and Ilanga is the player who's going to go off, and that's what you had predicted, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, I think I had got a little bit of an injury, so it wasn't that big of a one to go for. Jorginho's maybe a slight surprise, hasn't played badly, but he's actually got that yellow card. And the position he's playing, you know, if they break away, he sometimes has to take a player out. And also he's the last man for corner kicks as well, so I can understand why Jorginho had to be sacrificed for the power party.
Well, certainly Jota Silva is going to be top of the class. Not only did he get his final instructions, but he then queried and clarified from his manager Nuno Espirito Santo about what exactly was he wanted, as he's only now just coming back onto the field and play. So Arsenal have Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiore. A midfield now of Moreno, Partey and Ødegaard, with Saka, Jesus and Trossard. Bristol Rovers, incidentally, have taken the lead at Field Mill in League One. As we are underway, Mansfield Town 0, Bristol Rovers 1 is the latest score. Arsenal lead here by a 0-0, red and white shirts and white shorts, and they are playing from right to left as we look high up right at the halfway line against the Nottingham Forest side, all in sky blue. Matt Sells is in goal, back four of Aina, Milinkovic, Murillo and Alex Moreno, Yates, Ward-Prowse, Dominguez, and now with Silva, Awonyi and Hudson-Odoi. Chris Wood is still on the bench. Pat Nevin.
We'll see how much this changes as the game goes on, but the way it's lined up just now, Yates is really high up the pitch. I mean, he's up there standing ahead of Awonyi, so I mean, they're going to try a 4-2-4 against Arsenal. That's a brave call if they do that.
Back it goes to Raya in a dark goalkeeping outfit. Remember, we will be in Lisbon on Tuesday night, sporting against Arsenal. Champions League coverage on 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. At Anfield on Wednesday night for Liverpool against Real Madrid. And on Thursday night, we'll be back in North London Spurs against Roma in the Europa League. So 3 nights of successive European action to look forward to for what is this, the first of 4 Premier League commentaries this weekend. And we'll have Manchester City Spurs after Sports Report here on 5 Live. As Saka collects the ball on that far side, the right, and runs forward on his toes, right corner of the area, and comes in field. Mikel Moreno threads it back out towards Timber. Time to measure the cross, waits, and then actually backpedals, runs back out towards the touchline. Still the rain is sweeping across the floodlights that are shining over on that far side. Ødegaard, back it goes, and Arsenal still keeping the ball as Ødegaard rolls away from one challenge and looks for a forward ball, and it's just taken away by Alex Moreno and charged down by Saka. It will be a Forest throw. Goal at Oxford, Chris Coles.
Half-time has not halted. Middlesbrough scoring, now leading Oxford United by 4 goals to 1. And Emmanuel Latte-Lath has a hat-trick. Left-hand side of the area, left-foot shot coming, beats it at the front post. Oxford 1, Middlesbrough 4.
And if you are listening at home, or just about to get home, don't forget you can also listen via your smart speaker. Simply say to your device, play Radio 5 Live. As Swindon Town 2, Morecambe 2 is the latest score in League 2. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, just a few moments ago, Ødegaard got the ball, had 2 players around him, and then seconds later, he was free of both of them in so much space. And it's one of the guesses I like to make is what they're going to do the analysis in Match of the Day tonight. Got to do Ødegaard. Maybe Saka, but I suspect both.
I would suspect too. Bournemouth, there's been a goal. Henry Moran.
Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2. 3 minutes into the first half they've scored. They did it in the second as well. Fabulous ball through. Karen Matoma finishing low beyond Kepa. Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2.
Now, I've got to say, Arsenal are looking to take a free kick. Was that the delaying of a restart when Jota throws the ball away? If so, why was it a yellow card?
I think the referees probably had a little word with his mates in there and thought, I've been giving out yellow cards for pretty light-hearted things in that first half, so maybe he wants to keep it a little bit calmer because some changes have been made, I suspect already, with Jorginho, because the referee was giving the yellow cards out too easily. So maybe he's just trying to change the balance of it a wee bit.
Here is Mikel Moreno, turns away from Ward-Prowse. Forward ball towards Trossard, tried to play it back to this near side, the left for Calafiore. Jota there, Jota Silva slips and gets a throw for Forest. Gillingham are leading Harrogate Town at Priestfield in League 2 by a goal to 0. You're up to date with the goals as they go in, but we'll get an update from Villa Park and Pat Murphy.
It's still Villa 1, Crystal Palace 2, but 2 good chances for Villa in the first couple of minutes. Bailey, low cross, 6 yards out, no takers. Just now, Lacroix, a superb tackle on Watkins while he was about to shoot. Villa 1, Palace 2.
Here are Forest, all in sky blue, on the halfway line with Dominguez, back to Murillo, who really has been a model of consistency since he arrived at the City ground. The popular Brazilian. Forest supporters voted him Player of their Year last season, as Arsenal supporters just trying to raise the volume inside the Emirates. Half-time in the rugby, Sarah Mulkerrin.
And on the stroke of half-time, Mac Hansen scored Ireland's 4th try of the game. They lead Fiji 28 points to 3. Caelan Dara Josh van der Fleer and Craig Casey, the other scorers, discipline a real issue for Fiji. Caleb Muntz has kicked their only points at the break. It's Ireland 28, Fiji 3.
Second half will be on Sports Extra. Wimbledon 0, Walsall 1 is the latest score in League 2. Forest have a throw on this near side, the right. They're attacking the end where their strong travelling support are housed in that far corner. But it's on this near side that Aina waits to take the throw, and he's pointing something out before he now launches the ball, looping into the penalty area, headed away by Calafiore. Ward-Prowse gets that away from Jesus. Ward-Prowse's forward ball. Jota Silva out towards Aina, doesn't deliver the cross immediately. Trossard is back with him. Now he sends over a cross, an awkward one. Here is Ødegaard, who cuts the ball out towards the right corner of the area. towards Saka. Saka, wait. Pulls it back. Thomas Partey looks for a shooting opportunity, and he finds that shooting opportunity. Answer. Right-footed, Self is at full stretch. It was perfectly placed. Arsenal back to winning ways, you would suspect now. They lead by 2-0. A beauty.
Well, just got the words out there. They could do it getting that second goal now. She couldn't get the words out inside. Beautiful play once again up the right-hand side. Obviously that was where it was going to come from. Saka goes, but the run off the play. They took two players out of position by Odegaard. He doesn't touch the ball in that move, but he's one of the most important parts of that move. Drags his space there, leaves it to Partey on the 18. And when it comes to Partey there, he can tend to take a chance, take a touch, and just smashes past the goalkeeper. We've seen two very, very good goals today.
We certainly have. I mean, not only was it struck with power, but it was always curling away from the goalkeeper, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's for keepers, it's a nightmare anyway, because it's curling away from them, but also it's coming through traffic as well. There's a couple of players in front of him, but again, underline the selflessness of the Odegaard run. You won't notice it all the time, but he is developing space that people don't even understand.
AFC Wimbledon 0, Walsall 1 is the latest score in League Two. Forest look for a quick riposte, but they lose the ball 30 yards out from goal, and now they leave themselves vulnerable to the counter-attack as Jesus is played away on that far side, the right. Odegaard, look at the space for Odegaard if Jesus could get the ball to the Norwegian, but he's lost possession as we were going to go to Bournemouth, but instead there's just been a goal at Craven Cottage. So come in, Katie Smith.
Oh, this could be huge. Fulham 1, Wolves 2. They have come from behind, and they have been the better side, you'd say, in the early stages of this second half. João Gomez finishing off a lovely move, tiki-taka around the edge of the area, sliding it under Bernd Leno. Fulham 1, Wolves 2.
They got that first win against Southampton at Molineux before the international break, and they're looking to follow that up against a Fulham side that went into that game 7th at the table and enjoyed back-to-back wins. And not to keep Henry waiting, here's Bournemouth-Brighton.
Still Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2. Great chance though for Bournemouth to get one back. Evan Nielsen skewing the ball past the far post after great work from Semenyo. Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2.
Awoniyi has really been very isolated for large parts of this afternoon. Forest, though, had lost it. They win it back with Dominguez forward of the centre circle. And the trouble is, whilst it was 1-0, Pat, Forest are still in the game, but now all of a sudden they've got to be a little bit more attacking. 2-0 down.
Yeah, the psychology is totally different now. Ooh. Now, I'm not convinced by this referee. Do not get carried away. And listen, two players are injured there. Well done, referee. He hasn't got carried away. I don't actually think there's anything really nasty happened there at all. Tried to pull out of the tackle there, didn't he? He's going flying in it at full pace. Let's see who it was. Marino, was it?
Yeah, Mikel Moreno and Dominguez. It was a good old 50-50, and they both went for it.
But Marino's tried to pull himself out of the tackle when he sees it isn't going to get to it. He could have got overexcited, the referee there. Happily, he didn't. Free kick, that's all.
So free kick for Nottingham Forest, which is just over 25 yards out from goal, and Arsenal leading by 2-0 on 5 Live, the World Service, and also the BBC Sounds app. And Ward-Prowse places it down, but he's going to hit this right-footed. So he's actually coming from it from the left-hand side of the ball. So he's going to wrap his right foot around it. Arsenal have got a line of red and white shirts inside the penalty area. It goes towards the far post. It was aimed towards Murillo, behind for a corner. And back underway at Millwall, Paul Scott.
Yes, we are back underway here after a 30-minute delay. There were 2 medical incidents in the crowd. Of course, our thoughts are with all those affected. The players have been in the changing room for half an hour. We are now playing the final 5 minutes of the first half. It's Millwall 0, Sunderland 1.
And remember, games were delayed because of the weather in Scotland. Rangers 3:45. St Mirren didn't get underway until 4 o'clock as Nottingham Forest 2-0 down. Have a corner far side the left. A lot of jostling inside a very congested 6-yard area. Punched away by Raya, edge of the area. Alex Moreno chips the ball forward and then it's caught high above his head by David Raya as Harrogate Town have equalised at Priestfield in League 2. Gillingham 1, Harrogate Town 1. So after Sports Report, we've got our next commentary. It's Manchester City Tottenham and the team is from Alistair Bruce Ball.
3 changes for each side here from their last Premier League outings. Both lost those games. John Stones and Manuel Akanji back for City. Rico Lewis steps forward into midfield. Bernardo Silva comes in for Mateus Nunes. Romero and Van de Ven both missing for Tottenham. Bentancur suspended. Ben Davis, Yves Bissouma, James Maddison all come in. Maddison in the 10. Kulusevski goes right. Brennan Johnson on the bench.
Paul Robinson on commentary duties with Ali, and then it's 6:06 at around 7:30. 08085909693 to speak to Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. But Arsenal leading by 2-0, and Mikel Arteta, his 250th game, the 10th manager to reach such a milestone for Arsenal, and not only that, another landmark occasion for the club because it will actually be their 2000th victory in the top division. Only the second team to do that after Liverpool.
I'm really happy you told me who that was. I thought you were going to ask me to throw me there. No, it's,
I would never do that to you.
Honestly, the 250 games for him is brilliant because, you know, he understands the club, he feels part of the club now. I think they're making plans for 1, 2 and 3 years beyond this as well. For me, he has been a little wobble recently, but there's no concern. He has been a super manager for Arsenal. Could get better.
He's approaching his 5th anniversary as well. 5 years here when he was appointed in 20th of December back in 2019 as Burton Albion 0, Stockport County 3 as the latest score in League 1. And a free kick to Arsenal as Mikel Moreno was fouled.
One of the good things you like if you're a manager, you don't actually want to say it yourself, but you love it when other people say it, is you make a substitution and it works well. Party went quite well there, didn't it? Half time, 10 minutes after, whatever after he comes on, he goes and smashes one into the bottom corner. Great shot and great decision to make that change.
Incidentally, it's his 7th goal for the club, and his previous 6 have all been in Arsenal victories. They lead by 2-0. Bournemouth 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 2. Everton and Brentford is still goalless, but Brentford are actually down to 10 men because Christian Norgard was sent off 4 minutes before half-time. And Wolverhampton Wanderers are leading at Fulham by 2-1 earlier. Chelsea beat Leicester City 2-1. Here is Ødegaard in the centre circle, wrapping the ball with his left boot out towards Saka, who then miscontrols it. It somehow went in between his legs. There was an area of disbelief there from bukayo Saka. Throw to Forest.
Both of them are trying really hard not to laugh because it's so beneath Saka actually to miscontrol something like that. But once again, those two, wherever they are in the field, they can see each other, they can find each other, they don't have to look.
Brighton might be leading, but there have been developments. Henry Moran.
They have just been reduced to 10 men. A second yellow for Carlos Baleba. It was a late challenge. I don't think he'd have many complaints, but Hurtler down in the dugout looks absolutely furious. Door open perhaps for Bournemouth. Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2.
We shall see, as Forest, I can see down below, are going to be making a double change. Chris Wood is going to be coming on, and there's also going to be Sousa is going to be coming on, Raymond Sousa, who is a Paraguayan international. So attacking changes being made by Nuno Espirito Santo, who in his career in England, this is his 5th trip to the Emirates. His previous 4 did actually well with Wolves, 2 draws and a victory. Didn't fare too well when Spurs came here in a North London derby and lost by 3-1. Half-time, incidentally, at Millwall in that delayed game because of that medical incident. Millwall 0, Sunderland 1. Ross County, though, have taken the lead in the Scottish Premiership. They lead Motherwell 1-0. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, just looking at the changes he's making now, probably, you know, exactly on where he wanted to, you know, just about an hour gone. But what I'd like to have done is been able to do it 1-0 down or 0-0. To do it at 2-0, it's a huge ask for those players coming on. Having said that, Chris Wood with his scoring, if anyone's capable.
Well, he's having a fine season. Arsenal coming forward, edging their way to the edge of the box. and then the move breaks down, just too far ahead of Ødegaard, and then it's passed out towards Hudson-Odoi. Hasn't had too much of an opportunity to extend his legs here this afternoon in the rain, which is still falling incidentally. St Mirren are leading Aberdeen by a goal to nil. Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, 90 minutes gone, Ian. St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0. It's a 7th goal of the season for Toyosi Alessania, the former Middlesbrough forward. He outran the two centre-backs after a ball was floated over the top, and he slotted it under the former Cambridge United goalkeeper Dimitar Mitov. It's St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0.
Celtic are playing away at Heart. That's a 7:45 kick-off at Tynecastle. Forest are attacking on the right-hand side, as this is with Milinkovic. And the changes that are going to happen, Wood and Sosa are going to come on for Awoniyi and Dominguez. That's the changes that will be happening very, very soon for Nottingham Forest as they trail 2-0. Queen's Park Rangers have got an equaliser in the Championship. QPR 1, Stoke City 1. No other goals to tell you about around the country. Here is Ward-Prowse. Back towards Aina. Floats this ball forward, too far over the head of Awoniyi. Gathered in easily by Raya. Looks to maybe try and launch a counter-attack with a quick roll out of the ball to Ødegaard, and then Timber tried to release Saka, cut out by Moreno, the Forest left-back. News of a penalty now, Shojo Saka at Lincoln.
Well, Wickham have missed the chance to go 3-1 ahead. It's still Lincoln 1, Wickham 2. Onyedinma brought down in the box. Captain Luke Leahy stepped up for Wickham, but his penalty saved by George Wickens' legs. Lincoln 1, Wickham 2.
Thank you, Shojo. So here comes Chris Wood and Sosa. Awoniyi will be replaced, only his second Premier League start. Been a difficult afternoon for him, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, it's against, we were talking about at the start of the show, weren't we? The two centre-backs are fantastic, but they've not really had to break sweat, and I'm not sure I blame it on Awoniyi coming back, because, you know, they just get very, very little service. However, getting towards the end of the game, I suspect everything will be put into the box now for Wood to go and attack. There's been a few chances for Silva to put it in the box so far. He's not done so. He has to do it more.
Sosa with the cross, and straight away Milinkovic was on the end of that, but his downward header runs well wide. As with the blowy conditions, the rain is moving across the ground as we look, the way that Arsenal are playing from right to left, with 62 minutes played, and they're leading by 2 goals to nil after Chelsea earlier beat Leicester City. So very imperative that Arsenal kept pace with the top 3. Manchester City commentary to come, and we'll have news of Liverpool at Southampton tomorrow as part of 5 Live's Premier League Sunday from midday. That's a 2 o'clock kick-off, bottom against top, to be followed from Portman Road, Ipswich Town against Manchester United. Ruben Amorim's first game in charge of Manchester United, as Arsenal play the ball back to Gabriel, Saliba, Calafiore again in that central area. This is Ødegaard. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he's been everywhere today, would it?
Oh no, he's been by some distance the best football player on that field today. I was talking beforehand, but for how much Declan Rice has missed when he's not playing well, he's done a job of controlling the game. And it's not all about the power play and things you get from Declan. You get something else from Ødegaard. He is a wizard. His control is phenomenal. And as we say, he's probably touched the ball 5 times since I started talking now.
Well, Ødegaard to Saka, gives it back to Ødegaard. Ødegaard plays the ball in to the left-hand side of the penalty area. Aina, though, with the interception. Aina now makes a strong charging run forward. He's over the halfway line, and then Thomas Partey just comes across and takes it and stops him in his tracks, and all of a sudden Trossard now has got an area to run into. Yates is the one who's having to fill in at right back. That was a heavy touch by Gabriel Jesus, and presents the ball back to Aina as Huddersfield Town lead Charlton by 2 goals to 1 in League One. But Forest are just starting to show a little bit more intent.
Well, it's amazing. It often happens just after our mark. Many games, the game opens out. There's a lot more space out there. Players get tired.
Hudson-Odoi darts into the penalty area. Jota Silva tried to let it come across his body. Lunges into the challenge. Trossard too quick for him. Ødegaard is there and skips out of the challenge from the Nottingham Forest midfielder as well.
Great fun, isn't it, watching him? It's absolutely joyous watching Ødegaard there. And he's having one of those days where he knows, it doesn't matter how many, if there's 2 or 3 people diving in him, he is so far ahead of them that he's just jinking round players, he's ghosting round players, he's using their weight against themselves. It really is a joy to watch him today.
There's been a sending off now in Paisley. St Mirren Aberdeen, Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, it's 1-0 to the Buddies, the home side at the moment, but a big turning point potential in this match because Alex Gogic, the Cypriot defender, has been shown a straight red by John Beaton, the referee, for a sliding challenge on Shayden Morris, the winger, who just seemed to touch the ball away from before he got it. He's hanging about on the pitch because I think he's wondering whether VAR will overturn it. We'll keep you posted. St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0.
Cheers, Kenny. That was a 4 o'clock kick-off. They were underway at Ibrox 15 minutes earlier. That too was delayed, obviously. If there's any news of a Rangers goal against Dundee United, or for Dundee United to pop up with one as well, Gavin Wallace will give us news of that. Zinchenko is going to be coming on very, very soon here as Arsenal are attacking. Aina, though, with the interception. Arsenal quickly win it back. Trossard towards Jesus. Jesus, edge of the area for Moreno, goes for a curler. Left-footed, and it's off target. Zinchenko is going to be coming on. We'll go to Goodison. Everton against Brentford. Remember, Brentford down to 10 men. John Bennett.
It's 0-0. The Everton fans getting frustrated with the inability of their team to take advantage of having one extra man. They're creating chances. Lindstrom with the latest one, but they're wasting them. Everton 0, Brentford 0.
Calafiori's missed the last 5 games, so no surprise to see him withdrawn almost midway through the second half for Oleksandr Zinchenko to replace him at left back. We'll go to Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
Villa 1, Palace 2. Palace have weathered the expected onslaught from Villa early on, and they'll continue to be dangerous on the break. Mateta, a diving header gathered by keeper Martinez. Villa 1, Palace 2.
Nottingham Forest trailing 2-0. Zinchenko is on the field of play. I guess as well that there might be more changes because at some point Mikel Arteta will have that trip to Lisbon on his mind.
I think he's had it on his mind since the second goal's gone in, but not necessarily bringing players on. You're actually leaving them on the bench because he's got that in mind. Do you want to give Declan Rice an entire game of rest? Do you want to give Kai Havertz exactly the same? So the fact that they're not on yet is maybe the most interesting thing because they've been rested for other games.
Here is Saka on that far side, the right, playing from right to left. Infield to Ødegaard. Trossard now gets involved, out towards Timber. First time cross comes in. Saka's now inside the box. Alex Moreno is the player who will turn and clear it. St Johnstone are leading Kilmarnock by 1-0 in Perth in the Scottish Premiership. Harrogate Town are now leading at Gillingham. Gillingham 1, Harrogate Town 2. Arsenal are attacking. Ødegaard, cross towards the far post. Aina heads it away, only as far as Zinchenko. Crosses the ball back towards, looking for a penalty there. Referee had a good view of that and says that there is no foul for a push from behind on bukayo Saka. As a matter of course, VAR will have a check. Talking of VAR, Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, and the referee here says at St Mirren Aberdeen is that Alex Gogic stays on the pitch. It's downgraded to a yellow, so no red card for St Mirren. St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0.
And if VAR have already dismissed it, and that is no shock because there was hardly a touch on it.
I dismissed it before VAR did. There's nowhere near enough for a penalty kick there, but again, very open game now, enjoyable to watch unless you're a Nottingham Forest fan.
Yates, he's going to get a yellow card, I think, for that. The referee's played the advantage. This is Trossard. Arsenal are attacking. Ødegaard inside the penalty area. Ødegaard looks for a shooting opportunity, then passes the ball back towards Saka inside the penalty box. His first cross is blocked, comes back to Ødegaard. Ødegaard waits, now curls it left-footed. There's nobody there for that cross, and it will be going out of play for a yellow card. Good refereeing, actually, from Simon Hooper. Yates is booked. He let the game flow and then took it back when it went out of play, and Yates has shown a yellow card.
Yeah, the right thing to do. So, it's been not really an incredibly difficult game to referee, but he's kept his card in his pocket a little bit more in this second half. It's probably the right thing for the referee to do. But again, very, very open game, and at the moment, they won't say it out loud, but those two players are the best players for Arsenal. They have loved it out there. Even though it's raining and a little bit cold, Saka and Ødegaard are having a ball.
Ross County 2, Motherwell 0, and Wickham are having a ball now. Jojo.
Lincoln 1, Wickham 3. There is nothing stopping Wickham. They recycle a corner really well. Cross from the right, Joe Lowe with a close-range header. Lincoln 1, Wickham 3.
That will be a 9th straight victory for Matt Bloomfield's side, the League One leaders. 3-1 at Lincoln City. Wrexham were comfortably leading against Exeter, the last we heard, and also at the top Birmingham earlier were beaten at Shrewsbury by 3 goals to 2. Goal at Oxford, Chris Coles.
A glimmer of hope for Oxford. They now trail Middlesbrough by 4 goals to 2. Dane Scarlett with Oxford second, well found inside the box. Good finish into the corner. Oxford 2, Middlesbrough 4.
Well, from a long throw on the right-hand side, Jota Silva has hit it on the volley, then was repelled away by the Arsenal defence. He hit it instinctively, didn't he?
No, I'll tell you what, he's really lucky there. That was flying towards the goal. Just an Arsenal head got in the way. Whether you in about it or not, I don't know. But a lovely little bit of skill there from Sosa, who's actually not Sosa, Silva it was, wasn't it? He
yes.
took that in. Trying to explain to the listener what it looks like. It looks like a very, very scruffy version of Jack Grealish.
They're going to make another change. Nico Williams is going to be coming on. Hudson-Odoi with a cross from the left-hand side. Wood and Mark heads it back across goal rather than at goal. And Forest just starting to enjoy a little bit of the ball here. Here is Ward-Prowse.
Nothing to lose. May as well go for it. Getting the ball wide quite a few times. And if you've got Wood up front to go in and attack and head the ball towards it, you've got a point to go to.
Hudson-Odoi comes into the penalty area on the left-hand side. Out with Yates. Milinkovic now in a central position. But who's going to shoot there from distance. Arsenal have got everybody in and around their own penalty area. Hudson-Odoi's cross, in it comes now, headed away by Saliba. I said to you that Gavin Wallace would tell us if there'd been a goal at Ibrox. There has.
There has indeed. It's for Dundee United. Rangers 0, Dundee United 1, albeit Ian were checking for a goal for offside with VAR. They're taking their time. Sam Dalby with his 5th of the season, completely on his own. The ball was whipped in, and all he had to do was just head it away. But we are checking. Provisionally, Rangers 0, Dundee United 1.
Wickham, the League One leaders, are on course for 3 points, as are third place Wrexham. Owain Gwynedd.
Yeah, it's Wrexham 3, Exeter 0. Another header, another goal. James McLean with the corner. Ollie Rathbone with the header. Now it's on course to be a 7th home win in 8th for Wrexham. Wrexham 3, Exeter 0.
And the Welsh international Nico Williams is going to come on, and he has replaced Alex Moreno. So he will go in at left back now for Nottingham Forest, who trail by 2 goals to 0. Very, very soon we'll rattle through all the goals in the various divisions, but Arsenal, who'd gone 3 games without a win in all competitions, 4 without a win actually just in the Premier League. They collected just 2 points out of a possible 12, looking to get back to winning ways here, as there's been a try in the rugby. Sarah Mulkerrins.
It's Ireland 35, Fiji 3. Pundi Aki scoring Ireland's 5th after finding space, and bizarrely referee Holly Davison was taken out by a Fiji player in the build-up, so she had to go to TMO to double check all was okay. It was an Ireland lead 35-3.
Nuno Espirito Santo has just been told by Dean Whitestone, the 4th official, just to get back into his technical area because he had strayed away from that rather large, expansive technical area down below.
Where he's standing now.
Right on the edge.
It's close to the edge in the corner as they possibly get to make a point.
His team trail by 2 goals to 0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Incidentally, commentary of the rugby is on Sports Extra. Back it goes to David Ryan. Let's get an update from Fulham. Katie Smith.
Fulham 1, Wolves 2, but Fulham are pushing for the equaliser now. Harry Wilson moments ago coming on as a substitute once again, pinging one off the crossbar. Wolves looking for back-to-back wins, just the 2nd in the Premier League. Fulham 1, Wolves 2.
That would take them to within a point of Leicester, who were beaten earlier by Chelsea, and it would mean that Southampton are just starting to get cut adrift down at the bottom of the table. They're on 4 points, so there's a 6-point gap between them and the 17th. We'll have commentary at St Mary's tomorrow as part of 5 Live Premier League Sunday, as Nottingham Forest come forward with Hudson-Odoi, gets the ball and then quickly runs in off that left touchline with pace, enters the penalty area, clips over the cross. It's a deep one. Zinchenko heads it into a central area of that Arsenal penalty box, and Mikel Moreno is there to tidy up.
They've looked far better since Wood come on, haven't they? You know, so that they've got belief that if they can get down, you know, into the dangerous areas to cross the ball, and they've got something to aim for. Wood will always get into the right positions. On this occasion, that man Hudson-Odoi got down the left-hand side, lovely cross in, and just missed Wood's head. But you know, you can see all the players. Aina's one of them, Silva's another one. Look, we've got something to aim for now, and you almost can't miss Wood in the middle there. He's a big lad.
18 goals he's scored in 27 games in the Premier League under Nuno Espirito Santo. And if Nottingham Forest were to get a goal with 15 minutes remaining, they would then look to still make it a rather nervy finish for Arsenal. So far from secure for Mikel Arteta. on this landmark occasion, who incidentally has had the most wins from 250 games as an Arsenal manager. Ward-Prowse, midway through the Arsenal half, right of centre. Milinkovic, Yates, Wood, they're all up there. Headed out by Gabriel, drops on the edge of the area, headed back by Williams. The header by Gabriel Jesus was deliberately to his left, which allowed Ødegaard to volley the ball away. Here now is Aina in the central area. Murillo pings it across towards this near side. Sosa on the stretch, keeps the ball in play. Right hand side, 6 yards up from the byline. Forest trail 2-0, delivers the cross, and the header just over the top. Actually from Milinkovic, who'd got there, stayed forward. A chance for Forest.
Yeah, and again, if you've got top players like arriving late, we mentioned Wood, but also coming from the back, you also have to remember Yates is still on the pitch. He can go and attack from that deep area as well, but they need to get more crosses in now. Forest. I mean, Arsenal, they're not taking any chances now. They're playing it quite calmly. They're not as if they're turned off completely, but there's no need to take any chances. But and just if you mentioned yourself, if they lost a goal now, it would get very, very edgy around here.
Would you say that was the best chance that Forest have had? Can't recall too many looking.
Maybe alongside the Silva little chance he had there where he volleyed.
Aina has thrown Trossard to the ground. That'll be a free kick. Now Aina should be booked again. He's picked the ball up and he has delayed the restart.
Well, he would argue he brought it back to where the free kick is to be taken for. And that's a difficult one for the referee, because you could say, it's been a gentleman, it's not ungentlemanly conduct. I was putting it back where it's supposed to be taken from. He slowed it down right enough, but he did that.
I'm not necessarily convinced that Mikel Arteta would share that view, judging by his reaction, as we'll get an update from Pat Murphy at Villa Park.
Just in time, because Ross Barkley has headed the equaliser for Villa from an in-swinging corner. The pressure eventually paid off. Unusual for the midfielder Barkley get a header in, but they all count. Villa 2, Palace 2.
Literally as the goals go in on BBC Radio 5 Live. And that was the opposite effect of a commentator's curse. As we crossed there to Pat, and you could hear the raucous noise of Villa Park as Arsenal are attacking. Ødegaard edge of the area. Jota Silva with a challenge. Ball played back. Yates scoops it long over the head of Wood, who's got a long way to chase, and Raya is out of his penalty area. So 2-2 between Aston Villa and Crystal Palace. Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2, but Brighton are down to 10 men. Everton 0, Brentford 0. Brentford have been down to 10 men since that first half sending off of Norgard. And Fulham against Wolves at Craven Cottage. Wolves still leading by 2 goals to 1. It could be back-to-back wins for Gary O'Neill either side of the international break. 12 minutes remaining. I'll rattle through the divisions for you with the latest scores as we head towards Sports Report. Saka cuts in field, and that rocks Murillo as his header goes behind for a corner kick. Disjointed field really to the Scottish Premiership, because Rangers underway at 3:45 and St Mirren underway at 4. Dundee Hibs won't kick off until 5:45, and Hearts Celtic, as we mentioned, at 7:45. But the latest scores are Ross County 2, Motherwell 0, St Johnstone lead Kilmarnock by a goal to 0, Rangers 0, Dundee United 1, and St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0. That could be the end of their unbeaten start to the season. Remember, they were level on points with Celtic before the game started with 31 points. Corner kick to Arsenal once again. The 5 shirts have gathered at the far post. The zonal marking system once again in operation for the sky blue of Nottingham Forest as Arsenal lead 2-0. Stuttering run up, Saka fires in the corner, and it comes off the head of Yates, and it drops awkwardly and behind for another corner kick. News of another goal at Oxford. Chris Coles.
Oxford's hope of a dramatic comeback ended by Middlesbrough's 5th, Tommy Conway, Saka-esque, skipping across the box, finding the bottom corner. Oxford 2, Middlesbrough 5.
Swindon Town 2, Morecambe 3. Pat.
Yeah, my favourite Arsenal supporting friend Sophie hasn't been well recently. She doesn't need any stress, but sadly there is a wee bit of stress left in this game, isn't there, for Arsenal? They would love to get the 3rd goal in here. Keep on doing this same